Guys, have you ever had a knife that you see in an ad or like at a show and you're like, I don't know how I feel about this. It's probably not something I'm going to like. But then you try it out somewhere at a show or somebody lets you borrow it or at a friend's house and you're like, how did I ever think this was going to be like that? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 5 knives that absolutely changed my mind from first impression to how I feel about them now. So let's turn it around and look at them. Guys, like I said in the intro, we're going to look at 5 knives that I changed my mind about either from advertising or from just first impression. We're going to start with this one, the TS301. So this was one of the first Tucson knives I had gotten to see on the channel. Now, Jared sent me this. This is a TS301, and this is a great, great knife. But Jared sent it to me, and I was really critical of the weird upswept blade on this handle. But after carrying it for a little bit, I really came to like it. So you're looking at a 14C28N blade that comes down super thin behind the edge and cuts really well. Great, great handles with a hidden frame lock with these scales overlaid on it. So the reason I was really kind of critical of this, it had a weird feel in hand when I first tried it. But then when Jared told me, he's like, bro, just cut with it and you'll see what I mean. This is a beast of a knife to cut with. Now, it hasn't gotten a lot of pocket time because this is not the original one. This was a gift from one of my paying members. This was because they remember I liked it when I did the video. But the one that Jared sent me, like, it stayed here way longer than it needed to because I loved having it here and cutting with. I dug this out. I forgot I even had this. And I was like, oh, knives have changed my mind. The TS301 right at the front of the list. Everything about this was great. Very, very few negatives on this at all. Great pocket clip. Great, great thumb studs in a position where they're the stop pins and they don't get in the way of the cut. And everything about this knife was great. I'm just bummed that it's not currently available. They're hard to come by, hard to find. Carbon fiber and micarta married together really, really well. Everything about this knife changed my mind. Like, the way everything about it changed after I used it for just a couple days. And it's just dead gorgeous when you look at the grind on it. It's a very unique knife. Very, very good. Awesome, awesome knife. And I'm glad that Jared sent it to me so I'd seen pictures of it and I was just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like something I would like. So there you go. There's your first one, the TS301. This one is the Oaks Works Lantra. Now, when I first saw this at the show, I didn't think it was going to appeal to me because it just was so much different than the other designs that I'd seen from Eric over at Oaks Works. And I was like, you know, we debated on whether I was even going to get one of them for the channel. He had already given me the Solar Storm, which I absolutely love. It's basically right now, it's knife of the year. But when he sent me this, I got to say, I was amazed at the fact that I thought I wasn't going to like it. I got it in hand. It is great. You're looking at an M390 blade that is ground down super, super well to a nice edge profile. Thumb studs on it that you can either slow roll, flick, or reverse flick. Oh, I missed it. Reverse flick off of. And then a really good top flipper that you can just break. You know, I have a hard time with top flippers. I break them free and then I flip them up. Great, great action on that. Beautiful, beautiful scales. Once I got this in hand, you know, he sent me the one with the fat carbon fiber. Once I got this in hand, I realized that this is everything I wanted in the Olamic Busker, but didn't get. So I didn't like the Busker. It was a cool knife. A lot of people liked it. This was a much better option to me. Really similar blade shape, but just the comfort in hand, the way it cuts, the action on it, and then the ingenuity of having jimping around the pivot up here in this bolster area where you're getting purchase on it, where a lot of people are going to use that knife to do like packaging and cutting. And that's how most people are using their knife, is in a pinch grip. A lot of people aren't using their knife like this. Most people are going to use it in this fashion. And it's just kind of ingenious to do it in a fashion that's both attractive and functional. It's really, really good. I absolutely recommend this knife. You can get it from his own store over at Oaks Works EDX. So yeah, this one definitely changed my mind. I'm glad it did. I'm glad it came in because I would have missed out. So this one is the O-Knife Freeze 2. And if you remember, I did a video here a while back where I was like, I don't know about this one, guys. Completely changed my mind. After carrying it for a while, I haven't done the full review of this because I'm still enjoying carrying this and cutting with it. This is all but two of the knives you're going to see in this video came from Jared. Jared has sent me a handful of knives that definitely have changed their first impressions. This thing is done in 154 cm, and where it really shines is it is super comfortable in hand to cut with. And then this blade comes down to super thin profile behind the edge, and it just screams through material, and it has held up against a lot of heavy cutting. You can kind of hear when you run your finger across it, that's a very thin profile. But this thing is, I mean, it's not anything really in the looks department, but it's just functionally super good. Great action on it. 154 cm blade that, like I said, is ground super thin. Great access to the lock bar. Nothing you don't need and everything that you want. It's got good jimping all the way up the spine of that knife, clear up to that swedge. Nice, comfortable handles. Deep carry pocket clip that isn't a hot spot in hand and carries really well. Super good action because, you know, it's done by Kaiser, so it probably needs clean because it's been carried a lot, but really almost drop shut, if not drop shut action. And then just the nice pop on on a good budget knife. It's like $104. Nice little pop of color on these carbon fiber layered G10 scales. You know, you get the carbon fiber overlay on that. And it is a reversible pocket clip. So many things about this knife that everybody would love. And I was kind of critical of it in my first initial impressions, but definitely has stood out as one of the better cutters that have come in. So let's move on to the next one right after you hear from this video sponsor, Coffee Brand Coffee. Guys, there are few things I'm as picky about as my coffee, and I love to have the freshest possible coffee. So what better company than Coffee Brand Coffee that is providing you on-demand roasted coffee? They don't even roast the beans until you order your coffee. They're providing it on demand, delivered to your door, the freshest coffee possible. And because I'm picky, I've picked companies that absolutely support what I believe in. There is no chance that Coffee Brand Coffee is going to support causes that I don't believe in, because there's no BS, there's no politics, no activism dollars. They take all of my money and put it back into the company, and they take your money and they support channels like mine. So please go check out Coffee Brand Coffee. Coupon code Crazy Sharp, all one word, capital C, capital S, saves you 5% at checkout. Support the channel, support what they're doing. It's great. This knife changed my mind. Not so much that when I got it, I thought it was horrible. This knife, from marketing and everything and the price point, I thought was just going to be horrible. This is the Cold Steel Kudu, and it's that ring lock folder based on a South African design that came to me from one of my, I can't even remember who it was. I apologize to you right now. One of my subscribers sent this to me, and this thing surprisingly is really good. It is a very comfortable, pocket clip free folding knife with a really long blade. Now, it is in a very substandard steel. It's 5CR 15 MOV. The Cold Steel has historically gotten more out of their steels. Their heat treat that they do on all their knives, historically, their steels outperform what they honestly should. They have had some of the best budget steels on the market, and the best heat treats on their budget steels. So this is a nail nick folder that is huge. This thing is upwards of 10 inches, if I remember correctly. But what it's got going for it is it's super thin behind the edge. It is nightmare sharp. It's a very thin blade stock, and it's got this really classic lock system that has got very secure mechanism that ratchets out. And I have not seen this fail. This thing is amazing. It's just simply a pull back and break it loose. But this thing cuts through cardboard so well. And I thought this was just going to be a garbage throwaway knife, because that's what a lot of people call it, and it's not. This is something I absolutely give as gifts. These things are like $10 on some sites, $8 if you can catch them on sale. And it has held up, and it just screams through material. This is probably the best, if you're cutting down cardboard for stuff around the house for recycling, this is probably the best. My wife loves this knife because she can use it to open packages and stuff, because it is so thin, and it's something that she feels comfortable manipulating, as opposed to a lot of my other knives that are kind of difficult. So yeah, this is absolutely a great knife that changed my mind, the Cold Steel Kudu. So your next one is going to be the last one. And this last one, Jared sent me a Cancept Prickle, and he sent me the copper version. And I was immediately like, I'm not going to like this because it's front flipper only. because I historically don't like front flippers. Well, he sent me the all copper version. As you can see, I bought my own. This knife absolutely is a super great little slender knife that they've done in such a fashion that this thing it's probably one of the best little thin knives I've had in a long time. It is a liner lock. There's several different versions. This is my favorite. It's super attractive. It's like these bronze liners on black G10 with a black blade. This one's done in, I think, 154 cm. There are S35 VN versions, but this thing gives you that look of kind of a Japanese Tonto dagger in a folding knife that is like nice and slender. But even though it's slender, it's really comfortable. It's got jimping almost almost halfway up the blade that gives it really good purchase. It cuts really well for a slender knife. It carries so well. It's got a great pocket clip. Beautifully done with this, like this bronze and black. And I absolutely love this knife. And I would have definitely never even checked this knife out if it hadn't been for Jared. A lot of weight reduction on this side of this that makes this pretty well balanced and nice and light. The only thing I would say, the copper version that Jared had sent me to review was way too heavy. It was way too heavy. And there was just no way I was ever going to carry that one like long term. But this one absolutely gets a lot of pocket time, and I love it. And once again, big shout out to Jared. The majority of the knives that were on this list have come from him, and it kind of broadened out things that I wouldn't have tried these knives, and he absolutely has kind of opened things up, and I try newer things now. So big shout out to Jared over at Neves Knives for this. Let's turn this around, do some final thoughts. So there you go, guys. Most of those are knives that Jared sent me that when I saw them, I'm like, hard pass. And then he sent them to me, and I absolutely love most of those knives now. So there's a lot to be said. Like, everybody's like, first impressions, you got to make her good. Sometimes second impressions are more important. Those knives are all great knives, great options. I'll put as many links to them as I can down below, but big shout out to Jared for sending me stuff that's outside of my wheelhouse. So guys, trash truck. So guys, like I was saying, every time, if you guys want to support the channel, give the videos a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down, but tell me why. I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. I would love it if you would check out this channel's sponsor, Coffee Brand Coffee, and my other sponsors, Tempered Trail and Doll Strong Knives. There's also an Amazon store down below. Tempered Trail and Coffee Brand Coffee, you can use my coupon code CrazySharp, all one word, capital C, capital S, to save 5% on your order. And the Amazon store, it's just like a regular storefront. Anything you're going to purchase, please just use my Amazon store. Plus, there's a bunch of specific links down below. If you want to support the channel a different way, like you becoming my sponsor, I have a membership down below. All the members have access to my Gilded server. All the members get early access to my videos. On the Gilded server, I do giveaways to the baseline and premium tier members, and the premium members have access to a sharpening tutorial series here on YouTube that's behind that paywall. Guys, that's it on this one. This was a lot of fun for me. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next video.